the Walkway of Heroes event on May 28th. It's a great time to learn about the history of the site, but yeah, Sunday, 10 o'clock, as always.
Can I mention one other thing?
Yeah, can I just finish? Last time I'm pulling together a historic tour, and I was thinking it was that day, but it's actually going to be on Veterans Day in November. So if I mention something about gathering after the event at the Walkway of Heroes for a tour, it's actually in November. We're going to do a tour of military sites in Orangetown. So, but the event is taking place. It's wonderful, and it's a great chance to learn about the history of the town with all the artifacts there. Dennis?
Yeah, I think it'd be appropriate to have a moment of silence for the 22 people who were killed in Manchester at the concert last night. You know, it's a thing where terrorism is very close to us here because of 9/11 here in New York and in Rockland County. So it's a thing where it's something that we can definitely feel for the people of Manchester. So a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. That's a good idea. Thank you. Our first order of business tonight is a public hearing on a zoning law amendment related to allowing veterans housing in the R15 zone. And just to sort of briefly recap what the board already knows, because we've reviewed numerous documents related to this and had many conversations. This is the site on Western Highway known as Homes for Heroes. Mr. Murphy is here, along with a member of his board, the petitioners. The project exists in terms of units for veterans. It has plans to expand modestly to a footprint that exists down there from the old barracks at the site that was formerly a part of Camp Shanks. The town has acquired 6 or 7 acres of the site for drainage work, and the structures that were built there for the veterans housing were done when the land was owned by the federal government, and hence, you know, not subject to town approval. It's a great thing that the Homes for Heroes project is obtaining ownership of that land, and any future construction will come through the town, and the zoning needs to be adjusted to enable the building of the homes there in a way that makes sense for that neighborhood and for the zone. And to that end, we're having a public hearing on the amendment to the zoning law, which is printed here. And there's a fair amount of information here. We've got SECRA. We've got the law itself, which in some detail, with the underlined sections being the additional text in the zoning regulation. Simply adding attached veteran housing to the existing permit to have attached housing. And there are various sort of restrictions that make that change limited in scope to its application in the town. It has to be adjacent to a county or state road and such like type of parameters. It's a change in the zoning code in the column, which is conditional use by the planning board. So a property to obtain this kind of permit would have to go to the planning board. Doesn't come as of right in the R15 zone, but as of special permit from the planning board, or special use permit. So hopefully that helps to kind of lay the groundwork. I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing. Do I have a second? From Dennis Troy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there a sign-in sheet? Anybody mind signing in on?
Public comment sign, that's what,
What we got?
veteran housing, that's it.
Hey, there we go. It's Tom Foley. Tom Foley.
Tom Foley?
No, Tom Foley is here 2 weeks early. I'm sick.
Okay. Would anybody else like to speak to this question? Perhaps one of the well-known leaders of this project.
Any questions?
Why don't you go to the microphone?
If you just come up to the microphone, everybody in here knows you, but if you could just state your name for folks on TV.
My name is John Murphy. I'm the chairman of the board of directors of the 501c3 agency, which is called Rockland Homes for Heroes. We leased 16 acres originally of military land declared surplus. 6 of those, maybe it was only 12 acres, and 6 went to the town for their drainage. And we built 8 apartments and 4 structures for disabled veterans on the property. And we would like to have possession of the property so we can fund the construction of maybe another 12 apartments using the property as collateral for commercial construction loans. It's been up there for a few years now. I don't remember how many years it's been there, but it's been a huge success. And we're very proud of it, and it has absolutely turned the lives around of some of our disabled veterans who had to be homeless to be eligible for occupancy. And we're just going to stretch the 8 into no more than 24. Any questions?
No, I think, well, any questions for John? No?
Thank you, John.
I mean, the technical details we've all reviewed, so,
I'd like to hear from Carl Dornbush, too.
yeah, it'd be great. Any other statements or questions about the project are welcome at this time.
My name's Carl Dornbush.
I do want to point out that anytime you're in a project with John Murphy, there's an army of volunteers that builds around him, you know, for whatever that particular project is, you know, whether it's dealing with Venture or it's dealing with Joseph's Home, in this case, Homes for Heroes. And we have a veteran here, Carl Dornbush, and other veterans have really been terrific throughout this whole project, you know, so I welcome you here, Carl.
Thank you, Dennis. My name's Carl Dornbush. I am a Army National Guard veteran and am very pleased to have been asked by John to help with this project. It's been work, but it's been good work. And if anyone has questions, we'd be happy to respond. Yes.
I don't know who's.
Just,
My question is very fast. Is it only for veterans who are homeless, or is it also for veterans who are needy, who could use the support but are not necessarily homeless?
I'll let John field that.
Property was declared surplus under a federal law, which said that all military property during that era that was declared surplus could only be used to serve the homeless, with some additional exemptions, like medical facilities or animal shelter or anything like that can go on the property. But to be eligible for occupancy of the housing, you have to be homeless at the time you obtain occupancy. It's a federal law. We're fortunate and blessed that the federal government, because of the historic military nature of the property, Camp Shanks, that they gave us an exemption that we could serve only homeless veterans instead of the general homeless population.
All right, is there anybody else here to make a comment regarding this zone change in this public hearing? All right, motion to close from Dennis Troy, second over here from Tom Divany. All in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it.
Mr. Supervisor, you have before you two resolutions. One is a resolution that addresses the State Environmental Quality Review Act, recites in several paragraphs a brief history of the application, and ultimately recites as follows. Therefore, be resolved that the town board hereby assumes lead agency status for purposes of environmental review of the action set forth above under seeker, and be it further resolved, one, that the proposed action is an unlisted action of the seeker, and two, that having taken a hard look at all of the environmental issues associated with the action and the areas affected, including all of the possible impacts identified in the short EAF prepared and submitted in connection with the action, the town board issues a determination of non-significance with respect to the referenced action, authorizes the supervisor as designated agent to take such other and further steps as may be necessary to discharge the town board's responsibility. In reaching within determination, the town board has considered, among other things, the specific lot and bulk controls which limit the parcels within the district to which the conditional use applies, including the number of units on any given parcel, 5 units per acre on a minimum of 5-acre parcel, and further condition that the housing shall be located on or along or in immediate proximity to a state or county road, relatively accessible to the public transportation. The board has further considered the appropriateness and site conditions of the existing Homes for Heroes location on Western Highway, which already has been partially developed with such use, including the green infrastructure drainage project proposed by the town for an immediately adjacent parcel owned by the town, and the various studies commissioned by the town and by the U.S. government relating to the use of the entirety of the parcel. So we need a resolution to that effect.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions?
Okay.
Oh, okay, we're waiting.
There is now an adoption resolution, and again, there are recitals which outline the history, and then goes on, therefore, based on all of the information before the board and the findings hereinafter made, be it resolved, the town board hereby adopts the proposed local law which amends various sections of the town zoning code, and those are all set forth in that paragraph, including the definition of attached veteran housing. In adopting the local law, the town board pursuant to general municipal law, section 239, has solicited and received and considered the comments of and conditions of the Rockland County Department of Planning, set forth in responsive letters dated May 23, 2017, and adopts or overrides such comments as follows. And there are a series of either clarifications of the county's comments or overrides of the county's comments. The first 3 comments, and there are 5, relate to comments from the New York State Department of Transportation, the Rockland County Department of Highways, and the Palisades Interstate Park Commission, which have not been received and may not be received. And so what is proposed here is that the town board will refer such comments if and as may be received, inviting the planning board's consideration to the town planning board, to the extent that the county's comment requires more than consideration by the town board and the town planning board at the time of any application, the board expressly overrides such condition. We need a roll call vote on that override of comments 1, 2, and 3 to the extent you wish to do so.
I'm going to do a roll call, but I will correct Councilwoman Valentine, and I'm going to, with your permission, Councilman, with your permission.
That would be fine,
Okay,
thank you.
good. On roll call, Councilman Troy,
I vote to override.
Councilman Divney,
Vote to override.
Councilman Valentine,
Vote to override.
Councilman Batari,
Vote to override.
and Supervisor Stewart.
Vote to override, thank you.
And Paul, I'm not sure how that got there.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe Nancy's running for town council.
Oh, it does continue. With respect to County Planning Department Condition 4, which relates to square footage limitations and restrictions of the existing law under Group N. The proposed law adequately sets forth the applicability to attach veteran housing as distinguished from adult housing. To the extent that the County Planning Department's comment requires further clarification than set forth in the law, the town board expressly overrides such condition. We need a roll call.
Councilman Troy,
I vote to override.
Councilman Divney,
Vote to override.
Councilman Valentine,
I vote to override.
Councilman Batari,
Vote to override.
and Supervisor Stewart.
Override.
Lastly, with respect to County Planning Department Condition 5 regarding the right of review by the town of Clarkstown and the village of Piermont, the town board, again, will communicate any comments received from such municipal entities to the town planning board, if and as may be received, inviting the planning board's consideration. To the extent that the planning board's comments require more than consideration, the town board expressly overrides such condition.
Councilman Troy,
Vote to override.
Councilman Divney,
Vote to override.
Councilman Valentine,
Vote to override.
Councilman Batari,
Vote to override.
Supervisor Stewart.
Override.
We now need a resolution adopting the proposed local law as set forth.
I have a motion from Troy,
I'll second it.
second from Valentine.
We need a roll call though, right?
Roll call.
Councilman Troy,
I vote aye.
Councilman Valentine,
Yes.
Councilman Divney,
Yes.
Councilman Batari,
Yes.
and Supervisor Stewart.
Yes.
Back.
All right. Takes care of that.
We're doing the presentation.
Thank you very much, everybody involved, and good luck with your project, John and Carl, and thanks to all your volunteers as well. I'd like to invite our presenters, zone change request. If you could address the board, please, on this matter.
Good evening Supervisor Stewart, Town Councilman. My name is Frank Phillips from the Law Office of Phillips and Millman, 148 South Liberty Drive.
You wanna make a microphone?
If you could just do me a favor and use the microphone.
Oh, we
'cause,
have to use that even if we want to spread out here,
yeah,
because the map's here.
yeah, well, it's
They can't,
For
they
audio.
can't hear you on
Think I need a
TV.
microphone?
for audio.
On
you
TV,
want-
they can't hear you.
Yeah, no,
Yes, Frank Phillips from the Law Office of Phillips and Millman on behalf of the applicant in this matter, Gerald Bieber. The application is for a zone change. I'm also here with John Atzel from the engineering surveying firm of Atzel, Nasher and Ziegler, and also my client Gerald Bieber is here. We've laid out for you the map. We've submitted our application. It's looking for, this is a informal presentation where we are looking at looking for the board's comments regarding a zone change from the LO district, which is located on Route 303, to the CC district. The current address of the premises is 576 Route 303 in Blauvelt. As indicated in the initial petition, it's section 70.14, block 4, lot 15. South Orangetown School District, Fire District is Pearl River, and also Water District's Pearl River, and the Sewer District in Orangetown. You should have before you a petition dated initially, we submitted it on February 13, 2017, which is our client's deed showing he took title to the property back in 1985. Also, Exhibit B is the survey of the property, just the individual lot. Exhibit C is the land area and zoning map. Exhibit D is the tax map, and Exhibit E is the name and address of the property owners who would have to be notified if there was a formal hearing. Just the background and description of the property, it's .893 acres. Currently, it's in the LO zone. However, we find that particular area, and as Mr. Atzel indicated on the tax map, that a lot of, or most, all the lots along the same side of Route 303 is not compatible with the Route 303 overlay redevelopment, whereby all of them are non-conforming. The CC is compatible, which is, again, also located on Route 303. However, there is a break between our client's property, which is in the LO, and the CC district, which also there's that, which is the mall there, which if you're facing the client's property on 303, it would be to the right. And also the strip mall owns that piece of property along the back. There's a neighboring property, if you're facing our client's property to the left, which is office. The neighboring property facing our client's, if you're facing our client's property to the right, is a mixed use where there is a residential use, and the rear of the property is a commercial use. We feel like that the changes would be compatible with the district because it'd be more conforming. No variances are necessary if it meets the code for the CC district. Right now, as it sits in the LO, it doesn't meet the code. It'll be it's non-conforming. It'd be non-conforming forever and ever. And all the lots along that line, like I indicated, are in that LO zone, which is, I guess if you're facing the property to the left of our client's property, are all non-conforming within that zone. Across the street is the CC zone. Behind our client's property, there is a CS zone. And as I indicated before, next door to our property is, to the left is office, and to the right is a mixed use. We did submit to the board photographs. Right now, it's a residential use. A bit of an eyesore. We did submit to the board a plan that would meet the bulk requirements and the parking requirements, and I'll have Mr. Atzel go through that. So that really is an overview of what we've submitted to the board. And we had some consultation with the town building inspector and the assistant town attorney, Dennis Michaels, and we're just presenting it to the board now, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Atzel to explain what we've done on the plan, and then we'll field any questions that you may have for this particular application, and that we're submitting on an informal basis, of course.
Thanks for the review. You want to show us what your concept? If you could, that'd be great. I mean, we can't
put
see
the
your piece of
map
paper
up?
from over here anyway, but I think we have it.
Do you have the big map?
I don't have it in front of me, but I was just
Because
looking at it.
we we were told that you didn't have the big map. We
Right.
submitted that
Good.
a while ago.
I got this one. Oh, there we go.
That's it,
Sorry.
that's it, yes.
Sorry, I didn't realize I had two pictures. Yeah, well, yeah. I've already looked at this, so. Basically, their concept is, yeah, that's the existing site, and this is the proposed, both on the same piece of paper. This is basically a building with parking behind it and a driveway that goes down.
I think they did last meeting, but somehow we didn't get them.
Yeah.
Each one of you, we submitted 9 copies of the big map, and all the photographs.
It's building, and then the driveway comes down like this, and it's parking back.
Where did you submit them?
Dropped them off, I believe, at the town clerk's office.
in my office? 'Cause I would have thought, I thought I only got
I
one.
believe Mr. Axel's firm dropped them off at the town clerk's office, 9 cents.
Okay, because I only have one, but
That's good. We're looking at it right now.
that's all right.
We
I'll
have the
see what they
maps.
get.
It's not hard to understand the concept.
Okay.
This little part,
So,
this little part, and then the railroad bed.
just want to see if these guys have any questions about it. Thank you, Vicki.
Big building.
Just while they're getting oriented, can I just ask you a question? The site,
What is the proposed
existing site
building?
map indicates a driveway that cuts across both parcels. Is that the way it is right now? There's one driveway for both parcels?
No,
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah?
That's taken from the county overlay. County. No, the driveway actually comes in off of Route 303, partially over the property to the south and serves this parcel, and I
Right, so
believe the
there's-
parcel to the
So right
south.
now, these two parcels share a driveway.
They share a driveway, yes. Actually, per the old file map that was done, I believe it was back in the early 30s, the south 25 feet of this parcel and the north 25 feet of the southerly parcel are a former road that was shown on that map that was 50 feet wide. It was known as Cedar Street, which has since been abandoned, so we got our half, the property owner to the south has his half, but it's also actually an easement for ingress and egress for both parcels also. That's why there's a shared driveway. And the concept plan that we've come up with and presented to the board is a 75 by 100-foot building. It would be one story for retail use. We provided the required parking per the retail uses, and we've also met with the objectives of the Route 303 overlay district with the 25-foot wide buffer in the front, and we're also providing a 25-foot buffer along the rear property line, which I don't believe is required, but we're incorporating that into the plan. The plan does meet all the setback requirements, lot width requirements, lot area requirements for the CC zone. We would not need any variances from the Zoning Board of Appeals, and it would be a use as of right if the zone change were to be taken in.
So you can build a building directly on your property line?
Yes, the setbacks are 0 per the CC zone.
Correct.
It's either 0 or 12.
And if you look on the tax map, and I have it written in, you pass it around in red, with all the lots along Route 303, which are, again,
All the way down to Walnut
yeah,
Street.
all the way down to Walnut, are all non-conforming right now, which I love. The whole strip, right in approach.
because they were built before. time-
All the lots in this area do not meet the requirements for, one of them meets the requirement for minimum lot area, but they don't meet minimum lot width. And if you incorporate the required yards for the LO zone, most of them you would not be able to build on at all. They would all need substantial area variances from the LO zone requirements.
I believe across the street, there was also an application for a zone change into the C that was approved. Which is, I think, diagonally across from
I think it was Casamia or something like that.
The road
But
behind
the
there,
one owner over-
how far south does it go? Does it go all the way down to?
In that, on that piece of paper, like.
No, it doesn't.
Shows where it goes down to. I believe it goes behind our client's lot, and I think 4 or 5 lots.
It extends further south, yes. The shopping center owns that 60 feet wide strip that's directly behind our parcel and other parcels. And that was actually another map street on that file map that I referenced. It was known as Railroad Avenue.
Yeah, it used to be a street known as Railroad, but now currently.
It's under private ownership, yes.
Ownership of that strip mall, which cuts all the way back. It's along the railroad track behind the property adjacent to the mall, behind our client's property, and I think 4 lots after.
3 or 4 lots
Didn't they
further
have to
south.
buy that in order to meet the parking requirements for the strip mall? I think they did.
I don't know the answer.
It's possible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
They weren't even going to build parking houses, Mr. Valentine. I was the one at the town meeting who actually told them to build parking on it, because they wanted to put parking on the streets.
Oh,
And if you also note, if you look at the vicinity map, the zone line between the LO and CC actually goes through the middle of the West Shore Plaza parcel. At one point, I guess there was a tax lot line there, or it was 2 separate parcels, and they acquired both parcels. And and the zone line almost bisects the shopping center parcel.
what you have here is a strip of LO zone properties that are all non-conforming. That's what you have right now along that whole area. And it's not really in compliance with what was initially the overlay redevelopment. That's fun.
You know, this is town board members, welcome to ask questions. I've already looked at this pretty carefully, and I was kind of curious what other people would have to say. But you're making a petition for one parcel, and you know, I see it as a little bit of a heavy lift because it's barely contiguous with the zone that you wanted in. If you reach across the street and cut a kitty corner. On the other hand, I just think it does raise a kind of interesting conversation about that section of Route 303 and the fact that there are these smaller parcels. Many of them have their own driveways. That's less than ideal for a state road. And I know I suggested this to you informally, just to think about. I don't know whether it's possible or not, but it seems like maybe everybody working together could come up with a plan that might reduce the total number of driveways going to 303 and sort of move a different kind of, maybe more appropriate development on that section of the highway. But I don't have a crystal ball or a wand that I can wave to sort of make that happen. But I think it's an interesting thing.
It's hard because you have this, how you get,
Yeah,
Because basically myself and my neighbor to the south are the only two that I believe have 50-foot wide driveways. So how would I get to the other parcels' driveways? In other words, to go ahead and just say, well, maybe we could use their driveway too and reduce them. How would you do that?
not everybody'd have to be,
Street in with a greenway outside.
it would be involve combining all the parcels and redeveloping them as one, basically, yeah. So but that seems like a unlikely thing to occur, given the nature of divergent interests and property rights and stuff like that. So I'm not exactly sure, how to address this, but I thought I would just mention that I think if there's a way out there to get fewer driveways onto Route 303, that would be a community benefit that I think would be worth looking at.
They all come out of their driveway.
Well, there is one reason I kept our driveway to the south was for that very reason. I mean,
Right.
if you could combine, say, access for 2 lots, have one access for each 2 lots, that would cut the access
getting
points
there.
to Route 303 in half.
Guys, any other questions or comments about this?
Yeah, I'd like to hear John Giardello in terms of, Mr. Phillips talked about the other lots are non-conforming LO lots. And we've done this before, where you say, okay, other lots are non-conforming. No, either, none of them should be CC, was it CS?
It's L presently.
No, LL is
They're
presently,
LL, but
what are we
they're
going
looking
for? CS?
for
CC, okay.
John, could you?
Getting
could you come
dyslexic
up
here,
and
but
just speak
the,
to the nature of the development here? I know that,
Because
Yeah.
it's a thing where if they're all non-conform, maybe they should all be conforming or not. It's,
They're not conforming.
that doesn't mean that they're illegal.
I got that,
Before the yellow zone was put in place.
yeah.
They're all
They're not, the house is not conforming in the yellow zone. So, I mean,
Some of the
the question
uses-
is, wouldn't it be,
Non-conforming in the CC zone if it stayed a
wouldn't it be
residence?
the smart thing to
Yes.
have it zoned LO instead of CC? I don't know.
I don't know that.
I mean,
John?
That's why you have a building inspector.
Some of the lots are not
there's LO zone district, but they don't comply for the area. But some of them also don't comply for the use, because you have certain uses there, like a residence that wouldn't be allowed in LO zone. So,
But it's legal because it pre-existed the zone.
that's correct.
Right.
So
Pre-existing
what happens if
non-
you change it to CC? They're still non-conforming, correct?
If the other owners, right, if the other lots don't change their use, they would still be non-conforming. The idea of the CC is that it's more compatible with the size of the lots. So if you have lots that are smaller, CC allows smaller lots, smaller setbacks, smaller FARs, things like that.
That's why the CC would be conforming.
Not FAR, I'm sorry, smaller setbacks, things like that.
It enables you to build right up to your property line, basically.
Yeah, 0 or 12 for the front, correct.
So they're more likely to be redeveloped, if redeveloped, consistent and conforming with that zone than with the yellow.
Correct. If someone came in with another lot and said, I want to develop it as a retail use, they would have difficulty because not only the use is not permitted, but the size of the lot doesn't conform to the LO district. You need 100-foot setbacks, so none of those lots would be able to be rebuilt, let's even say for conforming use in the LO. So that's where you stand with that.
In terms of retail, what is going to go in there?
I walked in that, I was looking at putting a laundry
Small stores.
small stores, basically. You know, 1,000, 1,200-foot stores.
Well, the only reason, that's a good question, because we had someone here last week saying that they can't do retail because they can't get any tenants in there. They were here last week looking for a zone
Stop and Shop.
Not a problem for me.
Where is that?
right down the road onto Rio.
And Dunkin' Donuts has.
The Stop and Shop, they got approval for like 8 or 9
They got-
retail stores.
Yeah, they had a strip mall and
They-
a
they came
restaurant,
in here
and they
last-
can't do,
They
and a
came here
bank,
last
they
week
can't
and
do any of
asked
those.
for us to allow
Change to make it a daycare.
a text amendment to allow daycare in there. So I'm just asking because you're talking less than a mile down the street, they're saying they can't get tenants in there for a retail development.
I think that was a little different. Which is,
Okay.
You gotta look at the rents, the sizes, a laundromat, pawn shop, I don't know, produce, stuff like that is a lot different than something you're gonna put by a Stop and Shop.
but hold on. 'Cause mixing apples with oranges. The Stop and Shop site, they can't get a user for the restaurant.
No, they said they couldn't get them for the small
For
stores.
retail.
The strip mall in the
No, the
back.
J-
Strip mall in the back.
By the railroad track, the
Which was
old house they took
approved
down.
already.
The one you already approved.
Yeah.
They have no visibility to Route 303.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna have any deal with the setback either, but, West Shore has places in and out, and I'm not sure they're full now. My question is that you're open, your driveway, is that, and I should know, but I don't, is that gonna come out beyond that, center median? I mean, what are you gonna do with northbound traffic? Are they gonna be able to make a left into you?
Yeah, the median ends.
It'd be a right exit, probably.
Right, that would be an issue that would be addressed by New York State DOT.
Yeah,
And most
it goes
likely,
right about to that, that's
Yeah.
at the crest of a hill going north.
Oh.
So, I mean, coming out of there and traveling north out of,
Right.
There'd be no left turn.
I believe, so, I've seen a lot of bad accidents, that really is.
as I was saying, that would be up to New York State DOT and the planning board, and whatever the planning board and they came up with, it most likely would be right turn only out.
So right now, it's just a double line.
It's just a double line.
That
It's
island
just a
doesn't
double
go
line,
down.
doesn't go that far?
No.
No,
You don't want to be making a left coming out of there.
no.
Rich Finney's office is right there, you get killed coming out making a left.
Yeah, it's in the block.
Well, that's one reason, I mean, that's kind of hope. As far as the public benefit, one of the factors is reducing the number of left turns and things like that. And that was one of the things that I was thinking about, just looking at this and trying to kind of puzzle it out a little bit. All right, any other questions, guys?
Yeah. There's another bigger building here.
Give 'em a minute.
This is.
What's there now is not very pretty.
What exactly is taking place on your site right now?
Residential.
It's simply residential. There's no business located there. There's nobody.
No, and then there's,
Somebody who lives there, that's been there for many years. You know, I don't spend any money on it, and probably, I only pass by every 5 years, to be honest with you.
Right.
I don't
Been there a lot
have
more or
any
less.
interest in it.
Because the other sites have various businesses going on in them, you know, you can see.
Yeah, but, you know, this house is a house that runs on well water. It, still has one heating duct in the main floor of the house. It's not developed, it was moved onto that block many years ago. It's not constructed in a way
Right.
that you wanna say, gee, let's fix it up as a house. So, you know, just putting money into it, it's a two-bedroom house that's, the stairway is like this inside. It's not the kind of thing you just say, let's put money into it, fix it, because it's maintenance.
Right.
You know, the intention was to get it to the planning board.
Yeah.
Tear it down and use it as an exercise one day.
No, I just noticed that people in the same zone and neighboring parcels have, it seems like a little more diversity of, you know, so you got some offices, you got some people parking trucks, I guess. There's one guy with a big cell tower up there. It's, when you look carefully at it, you can see there's various businesses. Obviously, it's a little bit of a quirky area. The zoning doesn't really match the parcel sizes. And people are trying to figure out how to do something there. I appreciate your effort.
Well, I'm trying to improve it, so.
Yeah. All right, I think we started a good conversation here. I don't think we're gonna get a resolution. But it was, no, obviously not.
You gotta go to a public hearing.
But I think,
just wanted to bring it.
yeah, we appreciate that.
All right.
And so we've got all the information, we've kind of gotten a very clear sense of what the proposal is, and we'll let you know. Thank you.
The one with the red markings came down this way.
I thought I got to keep that. No, I got one that's marked up. Looks kind of like that. All right, thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Frank.
Take care.
On item number 5, which is, I understand is for a vote tonight, there's 2 items here that are time sensitive.
What are we voting on?
5 and 6. 5, they're both essentially housekeeping type things.
Hold on a second.
5 is the retainer agreement in connection with litigation against the town of Orangetown and the police chief. And I'd like to move this for approval tonight so that they can get going. I'll make a motion for number 5.
Hang on one second.
I'll second.
I'm fine.
Oh, you gonna tell the audience what it's about?
Well, as in addition to what I just said, which is it's retaining a law firm in connection with litigation against the town of Orangetown and the police chief. I don't know that we need to go in
All right.
to the detail of the case,
All right.
but we
what's
did
the-
discuss it with town attorney, and there was a recommendation to use outside counsel, and I'm not sure what else there really is to say about it this time. I'll make a motion to approve the use of this company. Do I have a second?
Jerry seconded.
So Jerry, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 6 is just out of courtesy to the fire department. They're under a tight time frame for their special event, And rather than doing a retroactive approval after they have their event, I'll make a motion to authorize the Highway Department to lend assistance with barricades, trash barrels, and a dumpster for the Orangeburg Fire Association Carnival, which is taking place on May 31st.
Tom is the liaison to the fire department.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
Are you a liaison to the fire department?
All right, I'll make that motion.
All right,
I'll second.
we got a second over here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
As long as we have liaisons to the fire department. All right, number 7 is a workshop item. What this is we have an existing access agreement with Russo Development to take a look at town property for prospective use as a data center. And it involves, if it works, which there's some indication that it would, the sale of that land would pay for the improvement of parks, maintenance garage, and highway facilities at a location over on the Rockland Hospital campus that the town owns. However, in order to further our understanding of how this agreement would work, we need the access agreement that Russo currently has to go over to Hunt Road and look at the site they want to make it into a data center, to also go over to the site where the town would consider relocating its parks, maintenance, and highway material storage area. And we need them to go over there and kind of certify the wetlands versus the buildable area. And that's the purpose of this amendment to the existing access agreement, so that they can go have an engineer take a look at this
Do we
site.
have hard numbers? I know there was a preliminary. Do we have hard numbers on what the cost would be to move?
So a hard number would be.
For
we've
for
gone
us
up
to move from that site over to
I think we
RPC?
do, but we don't have exact numbers.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, a
that's, to
hard
me,
number
that's
would
what
be.
hard numbers
We
are.
went to, Dennis, a hard number in my mind, we bid out the work, and we got bids, and we know exactly what it was. So we don't have that, we have not gone to bid, it's
I mean-
No,
premature.
I got that, but in terms of making that, making the parallel moves.
I
all right,
think,
it has to be, to me, that it's not gonna cost us money to do
Exactly.
that.
I don't, well,
And that, we've gone, what we have is we have, intelligent people who know more than I do about construction costs at the table, ranging from a developer to our highway department, to the parks department, and town engineer. And the math looks positive, and Tom Divany was there at a couple of these meetings. The proposed sale price of the land more than compensates for the relocation,
you're getting.
if it works.
You're getting the sales price, you're getting the construction, and then I think, it's not exact, I'd say upwards of $300,000 to $450,000 net after
Right.
we
After the
sell,
new building.
and after we do all the new, so that's a home run.
Well, $300,000 to $400,000 net.
And a new
would-
building.
That
And a
gives
new-
you, at
new-
least, that's a buffer, in
That's a-
terms of when you go out to bid.
Well, those,
That's fine.
if it's
That's-
gonna cost,
Yep, that's more or less, and
Well, isn't it true that, we're gonna have to replace the buildings on that piece of
Anyway.
property anyway?
Yeah.
So
True.
whether we replace them there or replace them in the next one, what's the difference?
Well, I
They're
think
in bad shape.
I think the purpose of this resolution is simply to
Yeah.
expand the scope of the access agreement, because maybe we can't build on the site we intend to.
yes.
That's
you need to
all this
find out
does.
how much
Because,
wetland is over there.
we did allow OMM to go over there, and they looked at it.
Different site,
It's
nearby.
very close to where that is.
There's wetlands
Yeah.
throughout there
that Yeah. have
to be identified.
I don't know.
So we're just doing a
That-
little more homework before we
Yeah.
make an agreement, makes sense to me.
Exactly.
It could be worth it, or we may not be able to do it.
Yeah.
All right, this is what it is.
Hopefully. Well, maybe if it doesn't work there, we'll find a different spot. So so this is a workshop item, we can vote on it next week. Number 8 is, this is a good one, which I want you guys to take a close look at. This is a resolution offered by the Clearwater Environmental Organization. And it speaks to their, and I think our collective concern, that the federal government fund clean water and environmental projects, and also have, reasonable regulations to protect the water quality and health and so on. And it's described here, it's a resolution that's offered by Clearwater, supported by Orangetown Environmental Committee, and I think it's a nice thing to do. Their plan is to sail their boat to Washington and deliver a message of the need to stand by the Clean Water Act and other legislation, which are really what turned around the Hudson River from being gross, basically, with wastewater and industrial waste and other things, into being a place where I, for one, like to go swimming, even though not everybody considers it swimmable, but it actually is. There's swimmable beaches at Croton Point and other places, and it's beautiful, and it's a source of economic vitality for our region, and residential development and recreational development, and these federal laws kind of underpin its health and I think, our well-being. So that's what this resolution's about. I'll ask you next week to support a symbolic vote and send them on their way, to continue to do their good works on behalf of the river and the environment. I don't imagine anybody's really had a chance to look at this yet, so if you have any questions or comments,
Basically, you're objecting to the new budget that Washington put out.
if there's a budget that,
A way of doing it in a roundabout way, but that's what you do.
I personally object to dramatic cuts to the EPA, you know, if that's specific enough, and I think it says that in here. That we need the clean water protections that that agency provides. Any discussion on that? All right, number 9 is a tax cert, and it's described fully there. Rockland Country Club is gonna get some money back.
All right, well, can we get, I see it's, the assessor, can we get Brian in here for the June 6th so we can go over what was brought up at last week's meeting?
Yeah, I've asked him to come in, and I'll have to check my email. He sent out another more detailed memo about the equalization rate, and I asked him to come in. So I'll just have to verify what date he'll be here.
Well,
I'm not sure it was June 6th.
I
It
would
might have been.
prefer it to be sooner
I
rather
would
than
too.
later. I mean,
I would too. And also regarding that issue, I've contacted our legislative lobbyist and Ellen Jaffe's office and others in trying to promote a kind of a workaround solution. And Brian should come in and describe it. Number 10 is the retirement of John Giardello. We'll have to formally celebrate you, John, next week when we actually vote on this. But after many years of good service to the town of Orangetown, and presenting the town board with the challenge of finding a replacement. So that would become effective on July 21st. Thank you for your service to the town. Number 11 is showmobile use at music festivals in Nyack. Number 12 is the Parks Department's transportation contract for summer camp. And that's it for
We should make sure.
no, we'll talk about it.
items on the agenda.
All right.
Is there an executive session needed on that summer hours thing?
For what?
There was a labor management meeting, and a recommendation related to,
We don't have to vote on it right now.
this is,
What's the recommendation of labor management has?
I imagine it was in favor of it, generally speaking.
Yeah, no.
You know, John presented why, the benefits of it, to keep the department open longer during the day so that contractors and things could get there before work. They're gonna do staggered, so someone will be there every day, basically from 7:30 to 5:15.
But what was the decision, labor management, are they
They,
for it?
yeah,
The union for it?
union
problem?
was there and they were okay with it, yep.
I'm fine with it. I think it's a good idea. I deal with them every day. I think it's a good idea.
How does this affect the rest of the town workers? I mean, is it?
You know, we had that discussion, it would be a department, but it's up to the department head to come. If you see that resolution, there is in the contract that it's up to the town board. So if there's a justification for it, another department could certainly come forward And if the town board thought it was a good idea for the public, they could approve it or not.
I mean, it's,
We already have this going on at the highway department.
as someone who deals with the building department on a regular basis, I mean, the summertime is when the builders are going in there, where you have a lot of houses being sold. And, you know, sometimes you can't get in there, you know, like I've been there on a Thursday running around and then realizing I had to get to the building department to pick up a CO search or try to look for a survey, and they're shut at 4, so them being open 7:30 to 5:15 actually would help a lot of people in the construction industries, and,
I agree.
I think it's a good thing.
And I think in addition, Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there was an agreement with respect to rules for the negotiations between management and the CSEA. We've reached a point where nobody's supposed to be putting new items on the table. This was not on the table, right?
This was, no.
No,
this is out-
This is
Right.
outside what we've discussed.
And actually, there's a provision in the current contract that talks about flex hours and labor management meeting and setting parameters, and then the town board gets to approve it, so it's really
I do have a
consistent.
question. How do you handle sick days and vacation days when you have the longer hours?
The union agreed nobody would be calling in sick who had the,
Is that true? That's not true.
We did discuss it, right? We did that?
Jim?
Yeah.
In the highway, we charge 10-hour days as opposed to 8-hour.
Right.
Okay, I'm just saying, as long as it's agreed to, you know, it's a thing where otherwise you just leave it up in the air, and with grievances and whatever, you know.
Grievances?
Yeah,
Grievance.
the highway.
You need another grievance.
And they need it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm good with, yeah. Do you want to vote on this tonight?
5 to 4.
They would like to start it next week. I mean, if you can't vote on it tonight, I guess.
We voted on two other
because
things.
before
Do you
they,
have to vote on
You
it?
good?
I'll move on it.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
My proposal.
The ayes have it.
All in favor? All right, so all set.
All right, do we need exec session
I don't know.
for the
Teresa?
CSEA negotiations?
John?
Is that actually on
Yeah.
Do the contract, all right.
John's contract.
We're going to have a motion for an executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
anything.
All in favor, say aye. For the purposes of discussing our labor contract.
Motion to go into executive session.
There will be no further business after the executive session, so you're free to go home.
CSEA contract negotiations.
So I guess I'll make a motion for adjournment, too. Do I have a second over here? All in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it.